Hey, what is going on, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Boylon's Roster Reviews. And this time we're going to be taking a look at the roster of BFS2005. Yeah, I don't know what these letters stand for, but maybe he'll tell us in the comments or something. Anyways, before we jump into that, I do want to, of course, point out that if any of you are looking for any of your own roster reviews with me, then feel free to get in touch with me via Discord, as that's the easiest way to do so. And you can find that info in the video description on the front of my channel page and in my intro as well. So, without further ado, let's get this review started. Okay, and as we start off here in the commander profile page here, I want to point out that this is a 515 days played, and this is a completely free-to-play account, is what I was told, so I hope this gives you guys an idea of what can be possible without spending money. He gave me no specific instructions in terms of what he was looking to power up, so we're just going to go over more generally, and if I see anything that looks out of place, I'll comment on it, or if there's anything I think he should upgrade, then I'll make that known as well. So just looking at the front page here, for Arena offense, it looks pretty solid. I think the only thing, probably Minerva and Hela are most likely going to be the next characters to go. Emma Frost is a pretty solid support character for, I keep saying support, Emma Frost to me is kind of like a support control type, but she's really good. Black Bolt's really good. Ultron is still pretty good. Probably he's going to be to go probably after Minerva and Hela do. Otherwise, it's probably okay for right now. For 3.4 million TCP, I think that's pretty good. I could see, given that the fact you have Spider-Man as a avatar icon, I would think that maybe he might be a good character to include as well. But let's take a look in the roster. Now, we're going to do this a little bit differently than how we normally do it. So we're going to actually start from the bottom up rather than the top up, just so I can see what characters haven't been unlocked. That way it kind of it changes my judgments a little bit in terms of what I'm going to say, and I can see what characters you have at the bottom in terms of characters that we might need to invest in terms of their red stars or anything like that. So this is all the patch 5.0 characters here. Doc Ock, 2-star, Baron Zemo. So I see that you don't have Phoenix and you don't have Ebony Maw, so that's a good kind of thing that tells me who to upgrade and who not. And so really that kind of scratches out Black Order, and Cull Obsidian isn't even unlocked. And unfortunately he's at 1-star. You do have a 5-red Negasonic. That's not bad, and I would consider leveling up X-Force in the near future when you do get him unlocked. And unfortunately we don't have a Ghost unlocked either, it looks like. So that's unfortunate in terms of Dark Dimension, because Ghost is a very solid Dark Dimension 2, Dark Dimension 3 character, although it looks like you've already cleared Dark Dimension 2 since Ultron is there, so I assume we'll see that he's possibly 7-star. Now, looking at the bottom of your roster, though, nothing completely stands out. You don't have Phoenix, so really there's not too much point in bringing Colossus up. And again, the Black Order, Corvus Glaive, and Proxima Midnight. You could possibly collect shards for them where possible if you don't have any other priorities for your arena store. But since you don't have Corvus Glaive, or sorry, if you don't have Cull Obsidian and Ebony Maw unlocked, that means the whole Black Order is not going to be brought together. X-Force wise, you're also missing Negasonic, so it doesn't look like you're going to be getting the X-Force team on board. Now, Invisible Woman, definitely a character here I think is worth investing into. I think that she's still worth having, and it looks like, since I don't see the rest of the Fantastic Four, it almost seems like you do have the others leveled up a little bit, and Invisible Woman sitting at the bottom. So this is the first character that I would consider bringing up and gearing up a little bit more. She does have other purposes, and also, to be honest, looking at your arena team, it's highly possible you can slide her into your arena offense team, because Invisible Woman actually is a good character when you're in control of her. That way you can manipulate whether or not to use the offense, the ultimate first for the barrier, or the special to clear debuffs, depending on who you're going up against. So Invisible Woman is the first person here on the first photo here that I would consider upgrading. Looking at the very top, nothing really there that I would say, although you have some decent red stars on some of these. Let's jump over to the second page here, and again we have to keep zooming in. There we are, so the bottom of the page here. Let's take a quick peek here. Falcon, you might want to consider Falcon up in the near future. He does have a lot of purposes for challenges, campaigns, things like that, and especially for Doom War, actually. I believe he fits into a couple of places there in the future Doom War campaigns. Mr. Fantastic, so none of this really kind of jumps out at me. You have a 6-red Kree Reaper, that's a bit unfortunate that you didn't manage to get that 6 red on someone else. But hey, I'm not gonna bang on at people's bad red star luck. Jumping up a little bit further, there's nothing crazy. You do have 4 red Human Torch. I mean, I would actually raise your Fantastic Four a little bit if you can. I do understand it's very difficult nowadays, especially because they're bio, and there are a lot of other bio considerations for gear. But, I mean, you could at least bring them up as another offensive team, though, because you do have Invisible Woman, so this might be a thing. Or, at the very least, just raise Invisible Woman. She's a she's a good standalone character, and definitely a usable character in Arena, depending on what kind of teams you're going up against, since I don't know like how old your shard is, the kind of common enemies to go up against, but I would consider gearing at the very least Invisible Woman, so consider that one there. But nothing really on this page really stands out at me, so this might be a bit of a shorter roster review. You do have a 6 red star Elsa Bloodstone, so that's pretty cool there. I really hope that they do a little bit more with Supernatural. I don't know with WandaVision that they're going to be moving or shuffling Scarlet Witch out possibly for another Supernatural character. I know that there hasn't been a lot of Mystic characters coming to the game, so fingers crossed. You know, there might be Blade, people were talking about that, or any other characters that might slide into that team. That would be really awesome. And then maybe you might get some use out of this red stars on Elsa Bloodstone. So since we haven't reached Ghost Rider yet, I'm also assuming he's probably on the next page. We do have 2 more pages to look at, so let's look at the bottom of the 3rd one here. And we do have some more stuff. Anything else that really stands out? Doctor Strange is leveled, so I suspect Ghost Rider is further up, so it kind of like makes me think that maybe Ghost Rider's right here. I'm blind, clearly. Right next to Doctor Strange. So unfortunately Supernatural don't really fill into any meta role at this time. They're kind of fun to play, but they don't have a lot of crazy areas of the game that you need to have them at. Looking up a bit further though, Scream, fortunately only at 3 star 1 red. I would consider trying to get some extra reds either through the promotion credit store, because Scream is a very, very good character that you're going to want to gear up a little bit more. Taskmaster, that's okay where they are. Red Skull, kind of surprised you invested quite a bit into your Red Skull team here a little bit. Maybe you might be able to use them though in Villain 7-1. I don't know where you are in terms of your campaigns, how much of that you've cleared, if you've got Hela on farm or not. Hydra obviously is available to use for Villain 7-1 to 7-3, which is kind of on the way to Hela on that if you haven't cleared that already, since I'm not aware of where your campaign status is, so maybe that's why you did it. Otherwise, they're not really worth investing into too much in my opinion, and I think it's a little bit of a waste of resources, frankly, if you had done this more recently, just because they're not great anymore. They weren't actually great for that long, unfortunately, and there's a lot of counters to them in war now. Looks like you got Sinister 6 up a fair bit as well. Maybe this was just for the events though for Shuri and Invisible Woman, but Mordo, Quake, let's see what else. Agent Coulson, Thor, looks like the Asgardians are a little bit higher, I think. Did I skip Heimdall? Heimdall, Thor, the other ones must be a bit further up on the final page then, I guess. And then we have Mysterio 44k. Nothing huge on the red star. Oh, there we go. We got 6 red Merc Rycard actually. So looks like you're getting a lot of. It looks like your team's quite wide in terms of Alliance War. So I don't know if this was your priority at all for widening your roster either for Blitz or an Alliance War, but it looks like you have quite a variety of teams, specifically war teams. I mean, I see Mercs, I see Red Skull teams, and you know, there might have been other characters that might have been worth raising before that. But let's move on to the last page to see who kind of your stronger characters are. And let's zoom in. So at the bottom here, we already saw that row. So we have Crystal here at level 70. Looks like you have a good Inhuman base here. Crystal, Yo-Yo at least. I think Carnage was on the previous page, was he? I think I skipped by him. Carnage was here at 60, 31k, that's okay. And then Quake was up here actually as well, wasn't she? Quake here, so Black Bolt must be further up. And then we do have Venom, Magneto, Loki, Punisher, Tier 13 Punisher, that's interesting. Maybe that was just to get into Dark Dimension 2 though. I don't know what if you're continuing to plan to level Punisher or what that was there. We do have Shuri, who's Tier 13. We have Sif. 6 res on Sif, that's pretty good actually. I would consider maybe investing a little bit further on that, at least from an Alliance War perspective possibly. Really huge there. And you could actually consider using her as a tank for Dark Dimension 3 Cosmic if you want, only because her red stars are so high. Otherwise, there are other characters available. You do have a tier 13 Thanos, so a lot of people will just choose to take Thanos into Dark Dimension 3 because he's so common to use for the Black Order team, and getting him up as high as possible is probably a good idea anyways. Do see a Wolverine at tier 13. I must say, you know, I don't want to be too nice in all of my roster reviews. I think this was probably a waste of resources. So I am going to point out people, point out characters when I think that they're overinvested, and this is one of the cases. I think Wolverine should not be a tier 13. Frankly, mine's at 11 or 12, and he's at 5 red stars, and that's as high as he's going to go. Yo-Yo, looks like you do got some decent stars here, so you probably got some good use out of Yo-Yo for Dark Dimension 2. Personally, my Yo-Yo is at tier 12. While she is a really great character, but because she's not farmable, it's very difficult to get star levels on her, and I don't actually think she's probably of much value beyond this. I would make sure to keep her at tier 13. I don't think that taking her up to 14 and beyond is really worth it, personally. Daredevil is also a fair bit higher. That looks like tier 12. I've never actually taken my defenders past tier 10, with the exception of, I think, Jessica Jones for Dark Dimension 2, but that was way back in the day. Shield Security, also tier 13. Groot, tier 13. Okay, these are a bit questionable now, because I think that these aren't really worth it. Star-Lord, 6 red, but I think also might be overinvested in. Rocket Raccoon, tier 14. Okay, we're getting into some problematic choices, in my opinion. But, you know, if you really enjoy the Guardians and that's like one of your favorite teams, then all the power to you. But from a sort of quasi-meta perspective, I don't think this was probably the right choice to invest your tech gear into Rocket Raccoon for tier 14. So, again, that's just my opinion, and, you know, I don't want to, you know, bust any balls or hurt any feelings, so that's just how I feel. The Guardians are okay. BKT was okay as a team. I don't know if you took a break at all or not, or whatever, but this isn't a really great team anymore. Good that you have Hela up, though, tier 13, Symbiote Spider-Man, tier 13, Black Bolt. These are all really solid characters here. Ultron, tier 13. Don't know if I'd really recommend Ultron to tier 14 and above. You got 13 Hela, so you got all the right characters, other than, in my opinion, Rocket, Groot, and Star-Lord might have been a bit of an overinvestment. Possibly Shield Security and Wolverine, definitely the overinvestment there. Carnage, though, Symbiote Spider-Man, looks like you're prepping up for Dark Dimension 3, it seems like. You got a good base here, so Symbiote Spider-Man and Carnage for Dark Dimension 3 City. You have Hela and Thanos for Dark Dimension 3 Cosmic, and Minerva as well. Black Bolt possibly if you want to take him up. In terms of global, though, I would start making some considerations as to who you're going to take in there. Obviously, try to unlock Phoenix, and the problem is that you don't have Ghost either, so your choices are kind of a bit limited. I do see that you're raising up Mr. Sinister, Strife, and Emma Frost is at tier 13 as well. Scientist Supreme is tier 13. I think that might have been maybe not so worth it anymore, but again, I don't really know, you know, like what point in the game you are in terms of what your goals are. Emma Frost is definitely a character worth taking up to tier 14 for Dark Dimension 3 Global. Mr. Sinister also worth doing, but you will need some additional characters to take into the global lane if that's something that you're considering. And because you don't have Phoenix and Ghost, like I said, this is going to be a bit challenging for you. I don't have any personal recommendations because you don't have those, but I mean, obviously Emma Frost, Mr. Sinister, you could take Ultron or Shuri. Those are also other global characters. Because you don't have any Health Steal characters, though, available to you, it's going to be quite challenging in that until you do get them. So I would personally work on unlocking Phoenix on the next pass. I don't remember how long away that is as of this video recording. I think she might be, yeah, and this is just me just kind of spitballing, that it might be in end of January, early February. I could be way off, though, but I would keep an eye on the timeline for Phoenix because she's a really important character for you to unlock. And because you have Black Bolt, I would start thinking about Ebony Maw, who you don't have yet, from what I remember from the first page here. You're missing Ebony Maw, so I would definitely work on your Inhumans for that, which specifically is going to be Karnak, Black Bolt, or sorry, Black Bolt, and then Crystal, Karnak, Miss Marvel, and Quake probably to unlock those. So definitely try and get Ebony Maw unlocked on the next patch, which unfortunately he just came by, but definitely try to get Phoenix. Now, you're going to need those Villain Mystic controllers at 6-star. I didn't take a look at every single one of them, but if that is something you're considering for Dark Dimension 3 progress, please look into unlocking Phoenix. She'll make a huge, significant amount of difference, especially since you don't have Ghost. So that's going to be the end of my roster review. I hope this helped you, the viewer, and also for anyone, or sorry, you, the roster, aka BFS2005, and of course anyone else watching the roster review and kind of watching along with me and commenting here. So in case you guys were, you know, this helps you at all in terms of who you should and shouldn't level. And I think especially up here, there are some questionable choices. But anyways, it's not my game, not my place to say, but I did make a few comments here. Anyways, guys, of course, like I said in the beginning of the video, if you guys are interested in your own roster review, then feel free to hit me up via Discord. That is the best, can't even speak anymore. That is the best place to get a hold of me. Otherwise, this is the end of the video here. So thanks for watching, everyone. Till next time, stay safe, and I'll see y'all later. Boylon signing out.